Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea news. As I said, post the transfer window being closed, a whole heap of news that's going to circulate around the community, whole heap of inside stories are going to come out. And this one is not even something that's far-fetched. This one is definitely believable. We've got news in relationship to Tyrique George. We've got news in regards to the curious case of Isha Samuel Smith. What's going on there? Everyone wants to know. He went to Strasbourg. He then came back to Chelsea. Now he's loaned to Swansea. How all of that has happened in one window? Yeah, we need to understand that. We've got news in regards to Omari Kellyman. And of course, Dastan Satpv, ladies and gentlemen, is making his Kazakhstan international debut. I don't know whether he's going to debut, but he's been called up to the national team, which the rise of this young player is immense. And Kazakhstan, they're playing in the World Cup qualification, I believe. And definitely my eye is going to be going out there, seeing exactly what Dastan Satpayev gets up to. Now, we're going to kick things off from Tyrique George. And as you can see, David Datra Fofana's pictures there as also. We've got some news in relation to David Datra Fofana. First up, Tyrique George was upset after what happened yesterday because for him, it was the chance to go and play. Deal collapsed as documents weren't signed in time. George will move in January if no other opportunities. Now, see, when I see this, deal collapsed as documents weren't signed in time. Like, what sort of incompetency is that? Are we actually going to believe that the deal collapsed because someone didn't sign the documents? This is what's happening in 2025. Serious negotiations are happening between the player, clubs, and you're telling me that someone along this process hasn't signed on time. Where are all of these people? Who needs to sign? Why aren't they available in a crucial moment where the transfer deadline is about to close? Like, are they out? Are they having dinner? Are they out on a date? Like, what are they up to? Everyone who's involved and needed to sign documents should be present before the transfer deadline, a couple of hours before. They all need to be present so no one can blame each other saying, oh, you didn't sign. But like, are we actually going to sit here and say that because someone didn't sign, this deal has collapsed? But look, nonetheless, I can understand Tyrique George's emotions over here. I can fully understand why he's upset. And this is why a lot of the Chelsea fans coming out and saying, oh, that's great, Tyrique George stays with us, that's another body. It's not about another body. We may look at it as another body as Chelsea fans. Yeah, fantastic. But these players, they think about their livelihood. They think about their career. They think about their future. Tyrique George might just be another body and fantastic for us to have because if there's any injuries, God forbid, touch wood, then Tyrique George can fill in. But Tyrique George is thinking, well, I ain't going to get too much game time here. I'm a young player. I need to get game time. I've got Garnacho in front of me. I've got Gittins in front of me. The club has bought them, so they're going to prioritize them. Where's me? I can't really play on the right side either because there's players on the right side. This is why, sometimes when they say Chelsea are stockpiling, this is the case. And it's not prudent to have so many youngsters, Gittins, Garnacho, Tyrique George. This is why a balance is required. You can maybe have, Garnacho and Gittins. Maybe even that I don't think is wise. But, this is what we have, no problems. But then a third guy, if you really need to have a third person, that person needs to be, someone a little bit older. Someone maybe closer to 30. Someone maybe in excess of 30 years old. Someone who knows that they're only going to be a squad rotational player. Someone who accepts that role. asking a player like Tyreek George, and I get it, we were looking to send him out. I understand that. But this is where I'm talking to the fan base. Asking a player to play a squad rotational role when they're that young, it's not realistic. It really isn't realistic. This is why Tyreek George is mad, and this is why we have to be very, very careful as to how we handle these sort of situations. We've missed out on getting rid of, Raheem Sterling, Desasi. We're going to get to David Dutcher Fofana. Fofana to Charlton also collapsed with documents not signed in time. Once again, like, what's going on? Why aren't documents getting signed? Now, is it us that haven't signed the documents, or is it Charlton that haven't signed the documents? And similarly for Tyrique George as well. Fulham, he was looking to go to Fulham. There was, situations around Roma as well. Is it us or is it them? Whoever the problem lies with, like, the incompetency is crazy. It really is. So, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's sad. I know we've got Carabao Cup matches coming up. I know we've got, FA Cup matches coming up, this, that, the other, but I highly doubt Tyreek George is going to get any game time. So, look, he's going to have to probably waste his time at Chelsea Football Club up until the January window. And it's sad, a young player like Tyreek George, who I know has quality about him, he needs game time to polish that quality. It's sad that he's just going to be rotting in the bomb squad. And then, this is where we need to get better. Us as a football club, we definitely need to get better. And down the track, I know now we are looking at buying young, and that's been the policy. But hopefully down the track, there's a little bit more balance. And, the squad cannot just have all of these young players. All of them want to start. All of them want to play. Let's see. Now, next up, The Athletic. Something strange has happened here, and a lot of rival fans are pointing the finger at us. I still don't know what exactly went down, but I think Nizar Kinsella has put down some information, so we're going to go through that. But check this out. Isha Samuel Smith has rejoined Chelsea from Strasbourg 33 days after signing a permanent deal with the French club. 33 days ago, it was a here we go for Ishe Samuel Smith to Strasbourg as a permanent player. The Athletic reported in July that Samuel Smith, 19, was to join Strasbourg for an undisclosed fee. Now, why are things undisclosed? Why is it undisclosed? Everything else is disclosed. Why is this undisclosed? Why is this undisclosed? And this was confirmed by the club, both of whom are owned by Blueco, the consortium led by Todd Bowley and Clear Lake Capital, on July 30th, right? So moved to Strasbourg, and it was undisclosed. And then on September 1st, transfer deadline day in Europe's top 5 leagues, the Athletic reported that the defender was to sign for Championship side Swansea City on loan. And this is after him rejoining back Chelsea Football Club. Now, look, we're going to obviously go through more details about this. All I'm going to say is I just hope Chelsea, and I'm certain, like, whoever's in charge of all of this, will ensure that we're not doing anything sneaky behind the scenes, right? Because this sister club, this multi-club model structure, it's great. It's great. You can shift players around. You can develop players. You can buy from them. We can sell to them. It's great, right? If done correctly, which so far I think we have. But when I see situations like this with Isha Samuel Smith, we just have to be careful. Look, me personally, if all the paperwork is fine, no problems. But I don't want to get done by UEFA or by the Premier League, the FA, whoever, right? I don't want to be under investigation again. I don't want our club to be under investigation of doing crazy things like this, where he was initially a Chelsea player, then we sold him, we don't even know the fee, pure profit there, and then we bought him back, and now we've loaned him. Like, yeah, what's going on? Some sort of money laundering activity? Swansea City, they've obviously announced that we have completed the signing of the defender Isha Samuel Smith on loan from Chelsea for the remainder of 2025-26 season, subject to international clearance. Obviously, Swansea being in Cardiff. Sorry, not Cardiff, in Wales. Ishe Samuel Smith has completed permanent transfer to League One side RC Strasbourg. This was tweeted out. There you go, July 31st. July 31st, he became officially, when it was posted out by Chelsea, he became a Strasbourg player, and then now all of a sudden he's a Chelsea player and has gone to Swansea on loan. This is what Nizar Kinsella had to say. Reason why Ishe Samuel Smith rejoined Chelsea. His competitor Ismail Dokore had been frozen out over a contract impasse when he joined, but he ultimately extended his contract by a further 2 years in late August. Okay, so Ishe Samuel Smith left, as we saw, right at the end of July, and then in August, his direct competitor signed a contract extension. Chilwell also joined. We've seen right at the end. Deemed an important player to Blue Coat, and Ishe Samuel Smith, a lot of people rate this academy player a lot. I've always said not every academy player is going to make it, but, there's a lot of, rave about Ishe Samuel Smith. There are a lot of people that rate him quite highly. So we need to be very careful how we handle Ishe Samuel Smith and how we develop him, because we don't want to waste talent, right? Deemed an important player to Blue Coast, so decision taken together to loan him to Swansea. Reversal similar to Chelsea letting winger Tyler Dibling return to Southampton, which was then due to partly to homesickness at the time, and effectively were given a refund on the transfer fee they paid in 2022. If you guys remember, we got Tyler Dibling and then we had to send him back because he was homesick, and we got the money back. Crazy how these sort of things, it can happen. But I don't think with Ishe Samuel Smith it was because of that. It's really because of all of these other stuff that took place. Chilwell, which makes me think that's poor planning, isn't it? Like, if you're gonna go for Ismail Tokore's contract extension and you're also gonna get Chilwell, why did you get Ishe Samuel Smith in the first place? Or was Chilwell right at the end? We had to move Chilwell on because he's just crazy to keep him at Chelsea. And then you're left with the situation that you're left with. On 31st of July, when Ishe Samuel Smith went on a permanent to Strasbourg, at that time you didn't contemplate all of these things to happen. And now that this has happened, you're making a decision of that. Look, I get it. You're being pragmatic, but at the same time, you're not being fully organized. That's how I look at it. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in regards to Ishe Samuel Smith. Yeah, I just hope that these sort of activities you don't get investigated for. Now, next up, Cardiff City, ready to shine in South Wales. Omari Kellyman. To all the people that might be asking, where's Omari Kellyman? Where's Omar? Well, he's gone to Cardiff. And I just checked. Cardiff, they're in League One. They're not even in the Championship. They're in League One. They're leading, although in League One, but they're not. They're not in the Championship. And if you guys remember, back in June 2024, like last year, basically, a couple of months back last year, Fabrizio Romano tweeted, Omari Kellyman to Chelsea, here we go. Deal in place also on player side after club-to-club agreement with Villa. Verbal agreement on a 19 million fee. If there was things that you wanted to investigate, 19 million for Omari Kellyman. We knew back then. We all of us knew back then. This player barely touched the ball in the Premier League and he went for 19 million. Yeah, look, I know off the back of this transfer, there was talks that the Premier League has sort of gave us a light warning that, hey, be careful what you're doing. Like, it needs to be fair value for these players. Omari Kellyman for 19 million, never. At max, maybe 1 million, 2 million at max. 19 million? Madness. And now where is he? He's at Cardiff City, League One. Contract until 2030 plus 1 year option. 2005 born talent to join CFC in separate deal from Martson. Medical booked on Monday. So that obviously happened last year. But yeah, it's interesting to see that he's now at Cardiff. And crazy parties. I don't even think anyone in Australia, especially, I don't know whether they do that in UK or anywhere across the world. I'm pretty sure they do. But I don't know. Here in Australia, I'm not going to get to see League One matches, so I'm really not even going to be up to date with what Omari Kellyman's up to. I'm pretty sure someone on X will find a compilation and post it. So yeah, it's not even something that we can report on. But Omari Kellyman to Cardiff City, ladies and gentlemen, on a season-long loan. Now, Dastan Satpayev, 17 years old, joined the Kazakhstan national team. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. This kid, I can't wait to see him in the Champions League. Kairat Almaty. They're going to be playing Real Madrid. They're going to be playing Arsenal. They're going to be playing some fantastic teams in this Champions League. And I'm banking on them to create a few upsets here and there. And I'm banking on this kid to do well. This kid's rise, I'm certain, even if he doesn't make it at Chelsea, he's going to make it somewhere. He looks like a sensational talent. Absolutely sensational talent. And you know what? I'm definitely going to have one eye on this fixture. Kazakhstan playing, I just saw Wales, I believe. I think Kazakhstan's playing Wales. Let's have a look. Yep. Kazakhstan's playing Wales. It's Friday 12, which I think is actually Thursday, which is tomorrow. Midnight match. So yeah, this is going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Dastan Satpv, big prospect in the future for Chelsea Football Club. I truly hope that he makes it. I think if he has a big Champions League campaign, yeah, watch this space. A lot of people are going to be looking at him. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about, especially in regards to Tyrique George and Isha Samuel Smith. What's going on there? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya. Bye.